one thing that Councilmember Whitaker, you just said that you, from the very beginning, have been concerned about the 10% franchise fee, and you immediately have spoken to departments about this. I would be happy to place that in on an agenda for us to move forward with a formal request. Those are the kind of things that we can do, and you have my support for us to go to a vote on that, if that's what you would like.
I would invite that. I would invite a more open discussion about this. However, we're currently invested in very expensive consulting reports and now an effort to validate the fact that this in lieu franchise fee was always acceptable. So I'm not sure exactly where in the process we are regarding that. This it is interrelated somewhat with the other pass-through increases which are going to be occurring, because I think that there is a lack of transparency in terms of what's going on. That 10% in lieu franchise fee has never been itemized on a water bill. People have never been able to see that as a separate item. So there are many issues to be discussed here. I think in due course we'll be doing that. But as far as taking the action to say we're suspending collection of the 10% in lieu fee until this is clarified, certainly I would support that.
So you would like to have that placed on an agenda?
Sure.
All right. Because I just want to make clear that you have that opportunity to request that, and that it just takes 2 council members to get something on the agenda.
If I might, since I was the only council member present at that meeting last night, I would suggest that it's just a little bit premature. Let's give the committee a chance to finish their study. They've continued it, and get the information that we know will come out of that. Whether we agree with it or not at that time, but it would be at least before us, and we would have something to discuss, rather than just that we disagree with something that occurred way back in the 70s. So I don't disagree with doing that. It's just I think it's a little premature for that. But before you finish, I have a few other comments.
Okay. Let me ask you, Councilmember Whitaker, would you agree to wait till the ad hoc committee makes the recommendation to us?
Well, there could even be litigation that ensues from this as well. So the question is, how long do we continue? At the very least, to escrow these monies would make sense, but I think it goes beyond that, that there are recent court decisions which pretty much affirm or confirm the fact that this is an unauthorized levy. And so I would be in favor very much, right now all these delays are not helping the situation because the public continues to be charged in unauthorized fashion. So that's why I'd like to draw a clear line and say we're going to stop collecting the charge until it is authorized, until it clearly is legal and authorized. Right now, that situation is murky. It could carry forward for I don't know how long. It could be a very long delay. All the while the city is collecting this amount of money, month in, month out. I think that's the urgency that I'm seeing or feeling about this at this point, because we have been promised a shorter timeline on these decisions, and it just keeps stretching out.
All right. With that being said, we did not have a date certain for the next discussion on the continuance. So perhaps we could have both of those items on the agenda.
I would just say that again, this is different than the item that was on your agenda tonight. That was a permission to go advertise the pass-through rates as required by Proposition 218. As Councilman Bankhead had referenced earlier, the committee has asked for a couple more weeks and a consideration of some other. They wanted more details, you mentioned earlier, Mayor, and they fully intend to bring forward a recommendation on all things related to the franchise fee, including options for a period looking back. So they're looking at the timing of all of this and how to resolve concerns about that we're still collecting this fee. How do we go back to time in the past? So I can just tell you that they're looking at this in a very detailed fashion, and we can bring something forward separate from that based on council direction. I think that you'll probably hear from the committee members. They are very committed to getting this done in a timely fashion.
All right, then we have Councilmember Bankhead that is asking for us to at least wait till these recommendations. You're feeling urgency. I think within the timeline that I definitely understand your urgency. That's in fact why I was the council member that did ask for us to have an ad hoc committee, and that work has been done. It's taken a little bit longer than we expected with some information that we didn't expect. But I think that I would support us waiting for the ad hoc committee, getting that agendized so that we can get those recommendations, since they've been spending quite a bit of time on that. That does not mean I don't feel that same urgency and frustration.
And there would be nothing preventing agendizing a discussion of this. So
perhaps the same night. I mean, if we're going to talk about water, let's talk about water.